the virtuous Sangha out of compassion. For the sake of this assembly of all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tạng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên yêu pháp luân giao đạo hạ môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Chú Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hữu Đi San Miao San Bồ Tô Chế. Nam mô Ta Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya La Ha Đê Đa Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng shen wei miao fa bai jian wan jian nan zao yu wo jin jie wen de shou chi yan jie ru lai zheng zhi yin. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Huineng, Venerable YongHua, Venerable Love Home People, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Lục Tổ, Thượng Kinh Hoa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, Liêu Chủ, Sư Phụ Sang Rần, Cơ Vị Chư Cha Rần, Cơ Vị Sang Trư Sư Emitofuo. Okay, today is the end of January 2021. Thank you all for joining us and this, as we continue to discuss the 6th Patriarch Sutra. Let me see, where are we? We are chapter 9, beginning chapter 9. How many chapters left? 10? 10 only? I thought it was 12. They keep on shrinking and shrinking. Okay. Well, how is everyone today? Let me see. Anything to discuss, to bring up before we begin the lecture? Final lecture, Sutra lecture for the winter Chanchi. We've been told this is our final week, the 9th week. And this is our final Sutra lecture because next weekend, next Saturday morning at noon, 10:40, is the end of the Chanchi. And then typically we have a break, but since they don't let me, I still will lecture next Saturday afternoon to resume the normal sutra lecture schedule. Okay, we have a lot of sutras to go through. And so that's the current schedule. let me see. There's only less than a week left. So work harder, folks. Okay, keep it up. We are making a difference, apparently, not entirely our doing, but I heard that the trend is that the hospitalization rate is down, death rate is down, everything is in the trending in the right direction, except for some pockets, which you can guess why. Okay, so don't get distracted. This is the time when we can pretend, we can fool ourselves to thinking we can make a difference. Okay? Just us. And everyone else will be laughing at us and say, oh, you guys are fools. But doesn't matter. Have faith. Okay? If it continues for another week in the midst of all these scary new variants, and it's still going down, and all the scientists can't figure it out, okay? That's our fun. How's that? That's reward enough. No? Questions or comments? I'm sure someone was like, Master, tone down. They're going to think we are radicals. We, hungry for recognition. What can I say? Okay, so don't get distracted by small things. Let's convince ourselves we are making a difference in people's lives for change. For once in our life, we can make a difference. How's that? Huh? Isn't it exciting? Huh? This is a good kind of delusion in my mind. Okay. Okay. Of course, I'd like to also, since not much time left, I'd like to also tell you that I'm very pleased. This is the first Chanchi that people have been improving, that people improved left and right. It's incredible. Hey, Korea, you guys are falling behind, Z. You better do something about your people. Even San Jose is just improving like crazy, before the Chanchi, during the Chanchi, and everything else. I don't know what happens in Korea. Maybe too close to the north. But it's very healthy competition here. Of course, our headquarters, kudos to all of you who've been improving. Keep it up, huh? Get enlightened. Stop BSing. That's all that matters, okay? If you don't enlighten yet, prepare. Get ready. Do not set your sights too low, okay? Don't settle for small things. YouTube have a question.
Trin asks, does attending sutra talks also help or only mantras?
What sutra?
So does attending sutra talks also help or only the mantras?
Oh, attending sutras help with reciting mantras. I see. Of course it does. Sutras is like a cure-all. It helps increase your job performance. It helps improve your relationship with your beloved ones. What else? I can't think of any good things. It helps tremendously. Because, why does it help? Because it opens your wisdom. Okay? And opening wisdom is beneficial in everything you do. The key is to open the wisdom. Another question from YouTube.
Jesus asks, Master, would it be okay to recite mentally the Great Compassion Mantra while hearing to the lecture, or would it be disrespectful?
Not at all. You can recite mentally, silently recite. That's okay too. Absolutely. It's perfectly okay. Jesus is probably joining us from Europe. When I was thinking, actually, I said, wow, in the future, I can see us, the world becoming so much smaller while we travel around, and not only, me, but also my dear disciples who've been working so hard, to hone their skills and go around, and rotate around so that, we are truly multinational, international, okay, multicultural. So, in the future, maybe we have a way place in Europe, the whole world. We bring the good things to the whole world too, in appreciation for their most excellent cuisine and museums. Koreans are so serious. This is the Dharma? Only Sang-wook is so Americanized. Now, whatever I say, as soon as I open my mouth, he... Okay, proclamations. What else do we need to talk about? Anyone want to bring up anything? Okay. Chapter 9. Proclamations. Okay? I don't know what it's about. It's been a while since I last looked at this sutra, so I'm just as interested as you are. It's a letter from the emperor according to slide number 3. So, ordinary people receive a proclamation, bow to it as a gesture of respect to the emperor. Oh, this is the 皇旨, right? The royal edict? No? Not proclamation. No. Proclamation is like a general big announcement. The 皇旨 is only for individuals. Says, I want you to go to Europe and open a temple there. That would be a 皇旨, the royal edict for a person. But proclamation is for everyone, okay, about something important. Okay. Monks don't do this, do proclamations. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why. Why would you make the comment? Monks don't do this. Huh? Oh, thank you. I got distracted. My mind is now on this COVID thing here. Only a few days left. Kill. Monks don't do this. Monks don't bow to the emperor. Really? I didn't know that. How interesting. We don't have emperors anyway, except for the last one. It's no longer. Sutra text, number 4. On the 15th day of the first month, during the first year of the Shenglong reign, AD 705, Empress Zetian and Emperor Chongzong issued the following proclamation.
神龙元年上元日，则天宗中赵云。
Okay, so something happened, probably recorded in the Chinese historical records. Slide number 5, Empress Zetian, a great believer in Buddhism, great supporter, but she's very unusual, my kind of empress, and very daring. Actually, she proclaimed herself to be empress Is it the first time that a woman became an empress in the history of Chinese? She was the first one. And the last one, I see. Well, we made sure it doesn't repeat, history does not repeat itself. What do people think of Chinese men? And Mr. Xi Jinping, you know. Emperor Zhongzong, okay, is her son, probably a young kid, right? That's how she proclaimed to be the empress herself, because she was like a regent, and her son was younger, so she proclaimed, and she named herself the empress. And not long she deposed him and took over ruling the country. So apparently I remember now. The young son came to the throne, and because his father died or something, or some disease or something, early, and so he was designated a crown prince, and so the mother is Tian, and it wasn't long before she usurped the throne and threw her son out. Okay, motherly love, Chinese style. 6th Sutra text. We have invited masters An and Xiu to the palace to receive offerings, so that we may investigate the one vehicle in the leisure time remaining after my myriad duties.
正请安秀二师宫中供养，万机之暇，每究一称。
Commentary. So, again, you see, these people are truly visionaries. That's why they left really a very indelible imprint on the history, in our human history. So she says, I want to study the one Buddha vehicle. This is the Empress of China. She would not settle for anything less than the one Buddha vehicle. Okay? What's the one Buddha vehicle? You heard of Hinayana, yes? Hinayana, they teach you to become an Arhat Pratyeka Buddha. Those are Hinayana sages. Still not good enough for the empress. Then you have Mahayana, okay? Mahayana, you basically you practice to become a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva, meaning enlightened beings. Right? So that's called bodhisattva vehicle. So you have the sound hearer vehicles, that's Hinayana. You have the bodhisattva vehicles. That's when they practice those 10 paramitas in order to practice their bodhisattva ways. And finally, the third vehicle is called the Buddha vehicle. Okay? And this empress says, I am only interested in studying that one Buddha vehicle, the supreme vehicle. Okay? And she says, the sudden teaching Dharma door. Okay, now, she's the empress. So, she knows what's the empress will only settle for the best there is, right? That's the way it is. So she says, if I study Buddhism at all, it's going to be the one Buddha vehicle. Nothing less than that. Makes sense to you, right? Here's the empress talking. Let me ask you, What Buddha, what vehicle would you like to study? You're not an empress. What would you like to study? I'm asking you. I don't know why I forgot your name. Just kidding. Daniel, go ahead. Blue.
If I was the empress and I wanted to learn or wanted to be Buddhist, I'll probably choose the one that gives me more power.
Translation.
Master, he said if he's an empress and he wanted to become a Buddhist, he would wanted to study the one that gives him the most power.
The most power. Well spoken. Okay, you make a good Buddhist, but there's a bigger temple just a few blocks away. Just kidding. We're too small for you. Yes. How about the rest of you? What vehicle would you like to study? I'm asking you. Here's the empress. Okay? She says, I want the Buddha vehicle, nothing less. How about you? Yes, Diego. Green.
I would like to study the perfect teachings with the Avatamsaka Sutra.
The better teaching Avatamsaka Sutra, you missed it yesterday. Sorry. Okay, anyone else? What would you like to study? Don't you think it's a little bit too much for you? The one Buddha vehicle? She talks big, okay? Wu Zetian is a very arrogant mama. Empress. And she talks big, okay? She says, I'm number one woman, number one man. Okay? Yeah, orange.
Con muốn học Đại Thừa. Phật đạt được thừa nào thì chúng con muốn đạt được cái thừa đó.
He says she wants to learn Mahayana, any kind of Mahayana. Okay, the reason I asked you the question is that be very careful about what you wish. It's so important to keep that in mind. Okay. When you listen to the Chinese talk about Buddhism, they keep on telling us that in this Dharma any age, it's because people cultivate and no one becomes enlightened practically. Okay, that's why it's called Dharma any age. And therefore, the Chinese, what do? They say, in that case, I go make money. Why waste time? Right? Even if we do the cultivation, you don't get enlightened. What's the point? So I'm going to make money and have a good time. Okay? And dominate the Americans. Uh-oh. I touched politics again. Sorry, I will control myself. Yes, red, pink.
Master, as a humble Buddhist, lately I've been enjoying studying Hyundai, which is a really good Korean vehicle manufacturer, and how they're going to be making the Apple car, or perhaps taking it to the Kia assembly plants instead. That's a vehicle for me to focus on and not set my expectations too high.
I don't know what he's talking about. Sorry. Translation! You're throwing monkey wrenches in my sutra lectures. I'm supposed to Mr. Know-it-all, but yes.
But in all seriousness, Master, and with humility, I'd like to find a Dharma door that I can walk through. I don't want to have to set an expectation level so high that I can't attain it this lifetime. So to me, the Pure Land Dharma door is very attractive.
Very good. All right, Pure Land Dharma door for him now. Yes, Blue.
Master, I would like to learn the fastest vehicle.
Fastest vehicle. Very good.
Fastest.
Spoken like a fast woman. Yes, anyone else? My point here is that whatever vehicle it is, your goal should be challenging enough. Don't listen to all the Chinese propaganda. Say you non-Chinese are not good enough. Therefore, don't even think about becoming an arhat or something. Don't buy into it. Okay? This sutra is about the Satan Dharma door, Satan teaching. So it means that you can leap at any time, at any level. It's possible. It is very, very possible. Okay? So, number one, so don't sell yourself short. I feel that, to me, I'm trying to tell you that I made a mistake. That when I first started, I made a mistake because I wasn't prepared properly, and my master wasn't around, and the one who were around weren't able to advise me properly, counsel me properly. I wasn't setting the proper goals. Okay, and which is a shame. I'm trying to help you avoid it. I'm saying that here's my point. Wu Zetian is an empress, and she says, for me, the only thing that's worthwhile for me to do with my time is the one Buddha vehicle. I may not have enough time, don't have a whole lot of time because of my, in slide number 6, myriad duties. You see, she's always talks so big about herself. She's so important. She's always doing important things. So studying the Buddhism also one of those myriad important things she does during the day. Okay? If that's how she thinks, okay, do not be fooled by these titles, the worldly titles. The empress is just an empress. Okay? Do you know that for most monks, for many, many monks, there were emperors and kings and empresses and nuns too, before they shaved their heads? Did you know that? It's not uncommon at all. For example, in our practice, in our world, morning ceremony, we recite the Shurangama mantra every morning. Morning ceremony, Shurangama mantra every morning. When you do that, you generate tremendous blessings so that in the future you will become an emperor yourself. This applies to anyone, not just monks. So you at home, you do morning ceremony on your own and you recite the Shurangama mantra or follow the guidelines that in our morning ceremony, then you are creating blessings for yourself to become an emperor, an empress. Really, seriously. Okay? And so in general, monks and nuns, they were kings and princes and princesses before in a prior lifetime. That's the kind of blessings they accrued. And then later they said, well, being a prince and princess and a king and emperor, it's not that great of a deal, big of a deal anymore. So I become a monk or a nun. That's what happened to a lot of monks and nuns, by the way. A lot of them. Remember, they recite the Shurangama mantra every morning. So that is very, very doable. Trust me. You have the blessings, and you need to do next is say, I want that to happen. Is it clear? So my point is that you have the blessings. We all have the blessings. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You think it's easy to come here night after night, tune in to the lecture, to the video night, video after video? For some reason, most people are turned off by my talks. I can't figure out why. Especially publicans. For some reason, I don't get it. But I'm joking, of course. Republicans, love you all. Okay. But where was I? I get emotional, So the point here is that it takes a lot of blessings to be able to attend these types of Dharma assemblies. Trust me, it's so selective, it's so difficult. Okay, so you have so much blessings already. Okay, and so that's why do not make the mistake. We have the blessings, and now you should know how to utilize these blessings properly by setting the proper goals. Okay? So that's why I asked you, what would you like to study? If the Empress studies one Buddha vehicle, I'm telling you, all of you, here, and on the virtual space, okay? If you've been listening to this and not turned off by this, you find it amusing, it's supposed to be amusing to you, okay? Then don't set your goals too low. You should say, if Zetian did it, me too. That's my point. Okay? I will not settle for anything less than the best and the biggest. Doesn't matter who you are. All right? And yes, absolutely. Go to the Pure Land. That's one of the best methods of practice available nowadays. Okay, I hope in the future that we'll have more chances to advocate this. Because right now we need to spend the time to assert ourselves as the authority first, and then eventually we're going to be so busy doing Pure Land Dharma doors. It's so busy. That's why I'm seeing, traveling, and sampling the world cuisine. I'm kidding. Okay. So the Empress invited Masters Hui'an and Cheng Xiu to come to the palace to receive offerings. Hui'an apparently is a big shot back then. He's one of the, a famous master, okay, Chinese master. And Cheng Xiu, of course, is the disciple of the 6th Patriarch. Okay, so he's very, very well known himself. I don't know about Hui'an, so anyway, apparently it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Don't waste Excuse me, don't waste time looking the Hui An. If he's anyone at all, you would have heard of him already and would have heard about his teachings already. So it's okay. Don't worry. We don't need to know everyone. Okay? So she invited Masters Hui An and Shen Xiu to receive offerings. Okay. Now, this is so Zetian-like, so emperor-like. Okay? It is basically they're saying, I want to make an offering to you. Excellent. That's what you do. You want to draw near these teachers. First thing you do, make an offering. Okay? That's Buddhist wisdom. Please pay attention. Okay? It's not the Westerners, people in the West and people in Dharma and ending age don't understand that. Okay? It's a proper protocol and it's very Mahayana. You make an offering. Whether you stop by the side of the road, pick up steel rose from someone else's backyard, okay, and bring it to the temple as offering, so be it. But, it's an offering. Or in a prior life, there's a boy who is a poor boy. I'm amazed by that story. A boy, very poor, in India, and he's of the lowest class, the undesirable, the untouchables. Sounds like a movie. Never mind. And so he's so poor. But he was walking on the beach and saw the Buddha, strolling on the beach. So the young boy looked at him and said, wow, he's such a adorned person. So, but he's being poor, he had nothing. So he said, I want to offer him something. So he scooped down and he some sand, and he formed a shape of a bun cake. A cake. And he rushed to the Buddha and said, quietly just said, like this. And the Buddha, in his looked at him kindly and compassionately and took the offering. And he said, very good. What is your wish? What do you wish? And he says, in the future, we're honored one. Right now, people look down upon me and chastise me and abuse me, physically and verbally. Okay. I would like in the future to become a mighty warrior, a mighty emperor, that people would tremble of fear when they hear my name. And the Honored One says, no problem, kiddo. I thought you were going to ask something more difficult, like getting enlightened or something. Okay? Done. And later, because of that offering of a cake made of sand, a sand cake, that boy later became who? I told you the story before. Otadi, I'm sure you heard it. He's the one who always steals my thunder. Who knows? He became Emperor Ashoka, one of the mightiest emperors in the history of India and one of the Dharmas, the biggest Dharma protectors of Buddhism. See? So you see, this tradition of making offerings to the Buddha, to the Bodhisattva, to the Sangha, is for your own good. Think about it. Okay? The Buddha does not need your offerings. The Bodhisattvas do not need your offerings. Okay, moving on. Okay. We sometimes don't need your offerings. Okay, but very rarely. Okay, so the point here is that so you start first. Hey, Westerners or people in the Dharma ending age, you start first by making an offering. That's Mahayana is called the giving, practicing the giving paramita. That's the first thing at all that you ever do if you want to study or practice or cultivate Buddhism. This applies to everyone. Don't come and say, teach me, I'm important, I'm the empress, I'm the emperor, teach me. She says, I would like to make an offering to you, even though I am the empress. Okay? I still would like to make an offering to you. That's the proper Dharma. Here, nowadays, modern times, we expect to have an exchange, right? It's like a contract. I give you money, you give me something else. So I've given you an offering. What is it for? That's the kind of mindset I see everywhere. Okay? That's wrong. If you still don't get it, you still don't understand the importance of making offerings, and you come to the temple in particular, make offerings. Okay? At all temples, not just this temple. Anyway, I'm kidding. You guys are so serious. But that's a very, very good Buddhist practice. That, funny thing is that I noticed the monks and nuns don't talk about this anymore because they fear that they may be misinterpreted, okay, as if they're greedy for money. It doesn't apply to us. We admit we're greedy for money. Deal with it. Okay, so the emperor wanted to make offerings to these monks. Let me finish my point acute before I lose my train of thoughts. And then this is so Zetian as well. If you do that, okay, if you want to make an offerings, here's what you should be doing. You should be going to the temple to make an offering. Don't bring the monk into the palace to make an offering. But that's what kings and emperors do. They say, you have to come to me. I don't come to you. Doesn't look good. I'm important. Okay? So that's, when you do that, then the merit and virtue you're offering is much lessened, folks. Don't do this. Okay? Go there. Hop on the bus. Hop on your chariot of fire and ride over and make an offering. Then it's the maximum of blessing you can generate from this process, instead of calling them to the palace. Okay? And what do I base this on? What is the basis of my claim that that's wrong? Because I'm not an emperor. Who am I to say that's wrong? People, come on, help me out. Altadi, what happened to him? He's at work? Yes, something.
Master, you're my good knowing advisor. You can tell me if that's wrong or not.
Okay. It's, anyone else? I can't find that. Huh? Pay attention. Okay? Are you ready? Are you listening? Okay. She invited the 6th Patriarch. What did he say? He says, no, hell no. Are you kidding me? I ain't coming to your palace. Not in that way, not in those terms. That's what he said. He said, hell no, I'm not going. Why not? Because it's not as good for the empress. That's why. That's one of the main reasons he says, if I'm going to take your offerings, you have to do it right as by my standards. Not your standards. Your standards are not good enough. You have to do it my way. Then, that's why I'm teaching you. Before I open my mouth and talk to you about the Dharma and the one Buddha vehicle, listen. First things first. You want to hear it? Here's how you do it. You come to my temple. No matter how far it is, you have to come to my temple. That's the lesson that Venerable Huineng was telling all these emperors and these kings, and none of them got it. And the Chinese are too polite. The historians never dare record that and say, why is it our emperors and empresses never got the message? They keep on inviting all these people, and the sages says, heck, I'm not going to your palace. And only the ones who are not sages would go to their palaces. So that's why I don't care for Hui An. I don't care. Okay? Don't waste time on this Hui An guy. Go ahead.
Hui An refused to go.
Oh, then look into him. Okay? Beautiful. That one simple act right there is a Dharma door of offering. Hui An taught the empress how to make an offering. And Sheng Xiu came, by the way. Sheng Xiu came to the capital and received the offering. Right? Next, 8. Oh, I'm sorry, Q.
Sorry to interrupt. This is kind of the question asked at the beginning of the lecture. Sorry, I was driving, so I couldn't clarify. What I meant was I was wondering if we attend the Dharma talks this week. Does that help the cause for COVID, or we have to do the mantras or do sitting meditation?
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your Chinese. I mean your. Of course, everything you do will generate blessings for our cause. So my point here is that each one of us who would like to pitch in a little bit, this is a chance to do it in your whatever way you're able to do. Okay, please pitch in because how can we ignore it? People are dying, people are suffering, and the world is going berserk. They are destroying our world. Okay, and my challenge to you is very simple. I'm just saying I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about 2 countries, very small part of the world, to show you that we can make a difference through cultivation. And this is why we cultivate. We cultivate in order to be ready when called upon to help. And this is why, by the way, that I'm very pleased that people have been improving. I'm not saying that in order to brag, but it's in order to encourage you to continue. You know why you're improving? You're improving because there's a lot of work waiting for you. That's the bottom line. More YouTube work, more, all kinds of things. Important work. And that's why we're not getting more people. We're not growing more heads. Okay? We don't have more arms. Okay? So we have to work better and faster. So that's why you have to improve. You see that? We are radicals. No one buys into what we do. So that's why, since we are not getting new recruits, we have to optimize, what we have. So the only way to optimize it is for you to improve. I'll go for you two old women. All of you, okay? No one is spared. That's why it's kind of cool, because it gives you the incentives and the rationale to work harder, okay? And because it's if you really believe that what we're doing until this Saturday can help with the COVID mess, okay? Try your hardest, and you see. And you see that all of a sudden, there's out of nowhere this reduction in all the things that coincides with our starting to do this kind of thing. Okay, it will help you. Never mind if they believe it or not. It doesn't matter. Okay, but it's more important for me, for you to try your best and see that you can make a difference, and that's for your faith. It's not about others. Who cares about what others think? We are lost causes. We are oddballs. No one takes it seriously. It's okay. It's just the way it is. But I'm doing this in order to help you deepen your faith. You understand? The faith is grows stronger because you see results yourself. It doesn't matter what others think, what others say. It's you. When you see results yourself, you believe. Okay? Jewel Mountain has a question.
Jewel Mountain asks, in the opening sutra verse, it has a line which says, "I will receive and maintain it." I noticed that this is a Buddhist term in Chinese. When it says receive, does it require a special dharma or method? People just read sutras or buy sutra to read and so on. When it says receive, does it mean to listen to a sutra lecture by a good knowing advisor or something?
Yeah. Receive here means that you accept it. You listen to it. You watch it. You read it. You receive it. You receive it. You receive the teaching. And maintain it means that you keep the teachings in mind. What is the best way to keep the teaching in mind? The Chinese don't explain this well. Okay, you keep it in mind by practicing it, by applying it. Okay, and then it's 24 hours a day, because you're applying it constantly. You're looking for ways to apply it. I'm supposed to be kinder. Okay? I'm supposed to learn about kindness. Okay? And then I need to be kinder as a person. Okay? And I explain it to the young people as a form of kindness practice is what I call French Weiyang. You know what I mean? French Weiyang, meaning that if you're kind, if you practice kindness, practice right now. Go home and be kinder to your wife, to your girlfriend, to your fiancé. Okay? Kiss up to them if you have to. But mean it. Okay? So you apply kindness, you enlarge it, you're kind more and more and more to people. So that's what is meant by maintain. Maintain is that you think about how to apply it. Okay? Yes, GFQ.
Just one comment, just to add a little bit color to this. It is said that the sutra opening verse, the 无上甚深微妙法, that verse is made by the Emperor 则天. At least that's what the internet says. I could not find the source to verify, but I thought that may be an interesting story to share.
Was that created, written by 则天? I don't think so.
Yeah,
huh?
I could not find source. That's what the internet
It was written by 则天? No. It was copied by, because what happened, I heard the story. Please correct me, Chinese people. I can't vouch for this. What happened is that they made a sutra. They compiled sutra, they transcribed the sutra. So they put it together as a sutra. And then, because back then sutras are highly valuable because there's no printing press. To put a sutra together is very difficult. There's a lot of transcription going on by hand, copy by hand, and paper is expensive and so forth. And then people make mistakes, okay? And then when they make a mistake, you cut the fingers off, okay? So that's why it's very difficult to get a sutra. So after you get a sutra, they give it to 则天 and ask her, would you like to write something? And she says, a preface, a foreword or something. And she thought about it, and she wrote down those verses, okay? Now, initially I thought that she invented those verses, but actually I don't think so. It was composed by another Dharma master before that, I think, and she read it, and she remembered that she liked those verses. That's why she wrote those things, and that became a tradition. That when we open the sutra, okay, we recite those verses. Request the Dharma. So you open those verses, and then you read those verses, then you open the sutra. So that's later became a tradition in Mahayana. But I don't think she invented that. I doubt it very much. Because those verses are extremely profound. Case in point, look at the verses closely next weekend. You know, she has no clues what non-birth is. No way she can understand what non-birth is. Impossible. It's way beyond her vocabulary. Okay? So that's why I doubt it. I seriously doubt that she wrote it. She copied it, but didn't invent the verse. All right. Anything else? Anyone else? Yes, pink, red.
Master, back to your point about inviting the monks to the palace. Something that occurs to me is, if you want to go through a door, you have to go to where the door is. You can't have the door brought to you. I mean, you could have the physical door brought to you, but then it's just a door. It's not taking you anywhere. And to me, that's what going to a way place is. It's a way to get to the door you're looking to walk through.
Good point. Excellent point. But you don't understand the psychology behind it. Not I understand psychology. It's Mary Jo's domain, not mine. Okay, I'm not a shrink. But my point is that you look at that process. Why is that so many kings and emperors would invite the monks to come to the palace to receive offering and speak Dharma for them? Okay, it's a royal sort of practice because it's self-advertising, self-promotion. It says, what I'm doing here is so superior to any of you. Okay? I'm the emperor, I'm the king, therefore this is what I can do that you cannot. So God be my witness. They only come to my palace. I don't have to come to them. And that, to the patriarchs, to the sages, is lack of respect. If that's the case, I don't need to receive offerings from you. But that's why they declined it without having to insult them. Okay? Because remember, these sages don't need your offerings, don't need the emperor's offerings at all. So that's why the first lesson, because the emperor says, I want to study the one Buddha vehicle, and so she invited Master Huineng and Master Huiyan to the palace. And Huiyan's answer, Master Huineng's answer is that, no thanks. That's a lesson right there. That's a Dharma door right there. The one Buddha vehicle right there. You can't even get that. There's no point speaking more Dharmas to you. Yes, Q.
Oh, Master, I was just wondering if for the last few days here of Chanchi, if it would be a good idea to just focus on the Chanchi for Gold Forest and just delay the work by a few more days, or just continue working as usual and cultivate only in our spare time.
Wow, it's up to you, local bosses. I have no vote on that. I defer to the local bosses. Okay? All right. Jewel Mountain comment.
Jewel Mountain says, in the Lotus Sutra, it says if someone received and maintains this Lotus Sutra, this person was sent by the Buddha. This means he or she renounced the Pure Land and came here to help living beings.
In particular, receive and maintain the Lotus Sutra, yes. But you can receive and maintain all kinds of sutras, all kinds of teachings, not just the Lotus Sutra. Very good. Anyone else? Yes, Green.
In the next slide, the one that is right now, it says that the two masters declined because of another reason, because there was a master with the Buddha seal. So I think like those two masters declined for another reason, not the one you're giving us right now.
Yeah, they gave excuses. Okay, very good. Sutra text and number 8. The two masters have declined, saying that in the south there is Chan Master Huineng, who has secretly transmitted the rope and Dharma of the great Master Hongren, who now transmits the Buddha's mind seal. He should be invited instead.
二师推让云：南方有能禅师，密授忍大师依法传佛心印，可请彼问。
Very good. Good point. Of course, number 9. They refused. He says, we do not have enough virtue. That's what they all say, by the way. He says, you should invite Huineng, Venerable Huineng, who has received the 5th Patriarch's robe and bowl, and is a true transmitter of the mind seal, is what their reply. He's more qualified. And this is what monks or the senior monks are supposed to do. They say, no, really are not. We are not qualified. We lack the virtue. Okay, to come to your palace. And that's why the empress then sends the emissary again, second time, please come. We'd love to learn the one Buddha vehicle from you. And then they says, no, really, I meant it, really. It's the Venerable Huineng who is more qualified than me. Please try him. Please make your offerings to him. And the emperor would send him the emissary for the third time. That's sincerity. And then Shengqiu would come. Okay? So there's a protocol. If you accept right away, okay, it shows you desperate. So so supposedly you should refuse. So if I refuse, please don't give up. This is a proper Buddhist way of doing this. I'm supposed to refuse. Would you believe? They give me a hongbao, I refuse, I say, okay, and I walk away. I say what? Okay, never mind. Okay. Next, 10. Yes, a pink.
Sorry, Master. I think this is a really important point of clarification for someone raised in the United States, because I'm not used to some of these cultural etiquettes. So just to be clear, ask twice, no twice, ask the third time, possible yes. But if no on the third time, then no means no?
If you ask for the third time and you're sincere, they have no choice. And that's why there's a protocol. You don't even need to ask 3 times. You may have to ask 10 times. You may have to ask 100 times. It's not for sure. But the way that the Dharma is taught is transmitted is that in order to show your sincerity, you should ask 3 times. That's what we were taught, 3 times. Don't just say, please accept this offering. And say, no, thank you. And you say, okay, and you walk away. Okay, so because then you're not sincere. You're not serious about your offering. Because you're really serious, why not? Why won't you take my offering? And that shows that you really want that to happen. Whereas, just like the people, they give me money and say, no, thank you. And say, okay, I just saved some $5. Now I can go have some coffee. So the protocol is that if you're sincere, some people are so sincere. For example, people that you know, and so the regulars and your devoted disciples, they don't need to ask 3 times. So you don't need to pretend either to say no, okay? Because you look at them and say, oh yeah, I know you're sincere already. I give you a hard time, you don't run away, haven't ran away yet. So yes, you're sincere, I accept. So that's a given. So the 3 times here is a test of sincerity, okay? And sometimes you might have to go more than 3. Sometimes you don't even have to, sometimes it's immediate, okay? Sometimes you don't even have to ask, and they say, and he would ask you, hey, how about a cup of tea? That kind of thing, okay? All right, anything else? Ten. Sutra text. We now command Chamberlain Xue Jian with this invitation, hoping that the Master will remember us with compassion and come to the capital.
经浅内饰削减，持照迎请，愿施慈念，速复上经。
So, number 11, commentary. The empress then invited the 6th Patriarch to the capital. Of course, when these so-called experts recommended the 6th Patriarch, of course she said, okay, I will do as advised. And she repeated the same thing. He said, okay, please come to the capital to receive the offering. And to stress the importance of this of her wish, she sent a chamberlain. Okay, chamberlain seems to be the spiritual advisor or one of the officials who's like very close to the empress. Who fulfills the empress's personal wishes. Okay, whenever the empress wants to, let's say, have what does she want to have? Some Heineken. She say, "Hey, Chamberlain, get me some Heineken and don't tell anyone." So the Chamberlain goes out, hops in a car, and buys a Heineken and brings it to the empress. So that's why the Chamberlain is supposed to be the personal attendant to the empress. He commands. He's a high-level court official, by the way. He's close to power. Okay, so she sent her own emissary as a chamberlain to denote the how highly she regarded Master Huineng. Okay. Xue Jian was an eunuch. Okay? Eunuch served Chinese emperors during the Han Dynasty. Okay? What is the present-day equivalent of eunuch? You know what eunuch is here, huh? Calf? No? Someone explain to him what eunuch is. Hey, Tuha, explain to him. Yes, Pink.
I think the safest example I can give, Master, is there's a character in the television show Game of Thrones who is a eunuch.
Eunuch.
The pronunciation I'm familiar with is the E is silent. It's a eunuch.
Eunuch, thank you.
And,
eunuch.
Coming from the male perspective, the polite term is the eunuch is gilded.
Gilded, like the Buddha statues.
Where the particular considerations are made to part of the gilding that doesn't stop necessary functions, but prohibits making children for that man.
I'm not going to touch that with 10-foot pole.
With all due respect, since you asked, Master, thank you.
Thank you for your contribution. Hey, disciple of Master YongHua, comment. See? You think she's scared?
Cái
No.
này nói rất là hay rồi, đúng rồi, rất là chính xác.
She boldly said, it's so accurate. It's very well spoken. This woman is too much. Okay, so eunuch. Okay, right. Very good. Okay, so he's a important person. Sutra text 12. The master sent back a petition, pleading illness, saying that he wished to spend his remaining years at the foot of the mountain.
师上表辞疾，愿中临路。
13. Commentary from the Patriarch, Master YongHua. The 6th Patriarch, there's no X there, wrote back, I'm very ill. Actually, he wasn't ill at all. It merely was an excuse because the 6th Patriarch did not wish to visit a ruler. So that's I guess that's the polite Chinese way of declining invitation. Some I'm ill, I'm not well, I'm too old, you know. Actually, it's a very long distance to travel, great distance to travel, and the road is very hard, and chariots have no shocks absorbers back then, so it's very, very, very rocky, very, very rough road, very rough traveling for an old person, and the bones will break if you have that many vibrations. All right, but Master YongHua says the 6th Patriarch did not wish to visit a ruler. Okay, again, people like us of the later generations should understand this is as a teaching from the 6th Patriarch. Okay, we don't visit rulers. We're not basketball players. We're not football champions. We don't go to the presidents, to the White House and visit the president. No. Oh. Yes, go ahead.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up, Master, because
that remains to be seen. Yes.
I remember there was considerable controversy over the Dalai Lama's visit to the White House.
Yes.
But I wasn't Buddhist then and didn't have this context. Was the controversy over the Dalai Lama visiting a ruler? Was that part of the controversy? Because he's, I don't know, is he not supposed to do that?
The Dalai Lama visiting the White House was too controversial because of the Chinese protest. It's political. They objected to that because that would be promoting the plight of the Tibetans of Tibet. And the Chinese were wielding a lot of influence back then. That's why they got away with pressuring the White House not to make it official. Basically, it's recognizing a Tibet, Dalai Lama. And that's number one. Number two, I believe, it has to do with the fact that the non-Buddhists, maybe even the non-Tibetan Buddhists, were opposed to it, because then they were concerned about that the Dalai Lama would get the publicity that they cannot otherwise get themselves. Okay, so there's political considerations, economic considerations, as well as opposition from the religious leaders. It's very strong, very, very strong, because as a politician, you can ill afford to ignore the Catholic vote. It would be suicidal. It's just the way it is. This country is Catholic Christian. Big voting bloc. You don't mess with them. Okay? Like 74 million people. Something like that. Yes, Orange.
Võ Tắc Thiên bà có giác ngộ không thầy?
Vũ则Thiên, is she enlightened? I doubt it. Okay, when you're an empress, it's practically impossible to become enlightened. This is why traditionally, in the history of Buddhism, these great kings and princes, they encounter Buddhism, and later, just like Amitabha Buddha, they renounce their thrones. Just like Shakyamuni Buddha, they renounce their thrones. They renounce their crown prince position in order to cultivate. Because what happened is reasonable, because as emperor, as a crown prince, you have commitments. You have commitment to your people. You have to put the people ahead of you. So that's why you can't really cultivate as a monk. I mean, as an emperor, as a king. So I don't think Zetian was ever enlightened. She's a brilliant politician. She's definitely some serious Chinese mama, but I don't think she's enlightened. Yes, Orange.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, tại vì mình nghe cái lịch sử của bà Võ Tắc Thiên á, thì bà có phát một cái nguyện á, là bà phát cái nguyện là bà đắc được, bà muốn đắc được cái Phật thừa, là cái nguyện đó là rất là đối với cái người mà hoàng hậu đó là cái phước báo rất là lớn. Miễn mà bà mời tất cả những cái thằng tú, những mấy trăm vị đang vô hoàng cung để dịch kinh rồi để làm những cái phước báo này cũng rất là ấy. Cái này ở trong lịch sử Trung Quốc á, người ta nói. Xong á thì không mời ông Lục Tổ, thì Lục Tổ cũng không có khe tới nữa. Sao mà mời, mà bà cũng hay lắm, bà cái bằng bà ngu cái gì, cái bằng tiếng Tàu thì không biết nói tiếng Việt, không mấy gì hiểu, những cái dịch qua nó không được ấy. Xong á thì bà mới mời tới sau này, bà thấy nuôi những tăng này cũng có phước báo thôi, mà tại sao mà nuôi mà không có ai mà để giải quyết cho bà để giác ngộ, phải không? Rồi bà mới tới sau bà mới nói là chắc mình nuôi những cái tăng chúng này đó, cái bằng cũng thường thôi, mà tới sau này đó nghe được nó là Lục Tổ Huệ Năng là người giác ngộ, người truyền nghĩ bác á, thì bà mới mời Lục Tổ đi, mời 3 lần á, 2 lần không đi, 3 lần là có chuyện rồi đó ha. Đó. Thì tới sau Lục Tổ cũng nghĩ muốn đi cũng không được, muốn đi cũng không được, mà không đi cũng không được. Rồi cái nó là tới lần thứ 3 thì ông Lục Tổ ông mới lấy một lá thơ đi cho bà Võ Tắc Thiên. Bà Võ Tắc Thiên bà mừng quá, thấy được một cái lá thơ như vậy đó, bà mừng quá rồi coi tới chồng nó nói gì. Ở trong một tờ giấy trắng không có cái gì hết trơn, bà ở chỗ đó bà giác ngộ. Theo cái lịch sử ở Trung Quốc mà thằng ấy thì bà mới ra được 4 cái câu thơ đó mới để lên cái lịch sử đó. Bà nói Phật pháp rất là khó gặp, tại vì bà có cái nguyện mô Phật mà không biết đúng không thầy, bởi vì con nghe nói.
Okay.
From what I knew in the history, I know Wu Zetian make a vow. She vowed that she will attain the Buddha vehicle. And then since she already have a lot of blessings, she invite Shen Xiu and a lot of monks come into the palace to make offering. Come into the palace to translate sutra. That's a lot of blessing. And then she also invite 6th Patriarch. Because before that she sponsored a lot of monks, and she already have blessing, but then she saw that nobody can help her to attain enlightenment. And then later on she heard that the 6th Patriarch is already enlightened, so she sent people twice to invite 6th Patriarch, but he turned her down. So the third time she invite, and then finally 6th Patriarch think about it and then decide to send a letter back to her. And when she received a letter, she was so excited, but then she opened it. The letter turned out to be a blank paper. And looking at it, she attained sudden enlightenment. And that's why she wrote the 4 verses. So I wonder if that's what I read from the history. I wonder, is that correct?
Could be true. I don't know. Maybe the Chinese people can help us out. I don't know. I haven't read about this, so I don't know. But it's quite possible. It's quite possible that she became enlightened. But then, if she became enlightened, what happened? Did she continue to be an empress, or she renounced the throne? That's what happens. That's what I like to know. You can write anything you want, but in the history books. But what did she do after she so-called became enlightened? Okay, because after you become enlightened, trust me, you look at an empress and says, why? Why would I waste my life doing this? Okay? YouTube has a question, and then we go to the cube.
Mary Jo asks, Master, why would we want to do morning ceremony and Shurangama mantra in order to be reincarnated as an emperor if it's practically impossible to become enlightened as such?
Let me think about that. That serves me right for calling her a shrink. Okay, you got your day. You made your point. Okay, sign off. Yes, Cube. Let me think about it. I'll answer you later. I'm buying time.
Just the historic background, the empress had a decline in her late years. I think she was pretty. She lived to 80 something, but then in the later years, she was starting making more mistakes, and then eventually things kind of falling apart when she was dying. And then when she died, one thing that she was famous for was for her tomb. She actually erected a tombstone. Like all the big tombs would do, but she was famous for not carving any words on the tombstone. So she's like, okay, let the later generations comment whatever they would like to comment on me, and I don't need to leave any good words for my life. That's something, she did. But I don't think she was enlightened at all.
Okay. Go ahead, Orange.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, nói mình sáng mình đọc cái Thủ Lăng Nghiêm đó, mai mốt mình làm giàu rồi này kia thầy, ngài Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa khai thị cho mình thì mình cũng một rất là ấy thôi. Cái này là mình qua tới nước Mỹ này rồi đó, cái Thủ Lăng Nghiêm này đó, hồi đó tới giờ mình cũng không biết nghe, mà qua tới cái nước Mỹ này thì ngài cho mình khai thị cho mình đọc những cái Thủ Lăng Nghiêm này. Là muốn cái gì có được cái nấy, muốn làm vua là được làm vua, muốn làm giàu là được làm giàu. Đó là cái thành tâm của mình, là ngài Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa khai thị cho mình. Thì mình làm gì thôi chứ mình đâu có ước mơ cái gì đâu thầy, phải không? Rồi nói bà Võ Tắc Thiên đó, 4 câu thơ này đó rất là hay. 4 câu thơ này mình nghe rồi đó, giống quả ngăn nghe cũng rất là hay. Vậy thôi mình cũng chán thán một cái 4 cái lời nói này là của bà đó. Vậy thôi, mô Phật.
Yeah. All right. Translation.
I heard that Master YongHua have a Dharma talk about, explain about the Shurangama mantra. I didn't know about it until I came to the US, and then he said that when you recite the Shurangama mantra, whatever you wish for, it will come true. So if you want to become rich, you can be rich. If you want to become a king, you can become a king. So that's what he said. And but then I will just do it. I don't really have any wish or think much. And then on the second thing, I really like the 4 verses that the Empress wrote. So I really think that it's a good thing.
So I guess I don't know, and I defer to the Chinese people to arrive at their own conclusions. I'm not Chinese, so I would not want to comment on that. I also just based on her actions, I don't think she's enlightened. That's all. You enlightened, why would you want to become emperor? Why would you want to run people's lives? Why would you want to make more money? That's nonsense to me. So you can do far more good because you have wisdom. There are people who specialize in running the country in very decent people, and they are very good at doing that themselves. So why would you want to continue being an emperor or empress? It would be nonsense. Okay, because being an emperor, being a king, would be a hindrance to your spiritual progress. Okay, so that naturally, once after you become enlightened, you don't want to engage in worldly things anymore. Okay, yes, Orange.
Phật bạch thầy, tại vì bà đó, bà võ Tắc Thiên đó, bà không có được một người mà cái bằng và thiện tri thức để khai thị cho bà. Miễn mà có người thiện tri thức cho khai thị cho bà đó là bà chọn được một cái nhà.
Excellent.
Bây giờ.
Very good. Translate.
Master, I think Wu Tian, the reason is because she didn't have a good knowing advisor to teach her what to do.
Okay, excellent. By the way, that's exactly the primary reason why I don't think she's enlightened. And this woman here made a very good point. If you want to study Mahayana, do not make the mistakes of what the Chinese do. They go from temple to temple to temple, picking a good thing from here, from each and every one temple, as if you go and look for sales at various department stores. Okay, cultivation is not like that. Cultivation, because you cannot decide for yourself what's good, what's best for you. You don't have that kind of wisdom. So that's why so for Tian to invite the masters to the various masters to go to the capital city to learn from them, to me it's confusing, because the more information you have, the more confused you become. You cannot synthesize information because you don't have wisdom. Okay? It's best that, like the woman said, that you follow a good advisor who will help unfold your wisdom for you. You cannot pick and choose from this teacher and that teacher. It doesn't work. That's what happened too. I noticed in our temple, there years ago, 15 years ago, I met these people who, these Vietnamese people who would go to Chinese temples, Vietnamese temples, Thai temples, and so forth. They well connected. They talk to all the Hershangs and big shots over there, and so their attitude is that I will select the best dharmas these teachers have to offer, then I'm better off. After 10 years, I look at them and say, they haven't changed, they haven't progressed at all. It's because they cannot, because that's the wrong approach. It's the same thing here with Zetian. Zetian is picking the people's brains, the Dharma master's brains. It's not going to help her. I don't think so. Okay, good point. It's about time you contributed something significant. Very good. Okay. Excellent job. Okay. That's the spirit Mahayana. You want to study Mahayana on one hand, and you say, I want to study Mahayana, but I do it in my way, not the Mahayana way. Okay? It's not going to work. It's been proven time and time again. Yes, White.
Thầy, con rất thích Ngài Huệ Năng, cho nên cái phim về Ngài Huệ Năng con coi gần như 10 lần luôn. Giờ ở nhà con có sẵn nhà luôn. Con coi cái đoạn này rất kỹ. Là khi bà Dược Thiên mà lên rồi đó, bà muốn lấy cái ảnh hưởng chính trị của Phật giáo. Bà mới nói với Đại Thần là trẫm phải học Phật giáo, phải mời Phật giáo vô để ủng hộ triều đình mình, để có cái tiếng của Phật giáo. Thì cuối cùng bạn tới bạn lui thì mới biểu ông Tiết Giảng này đi mời Ngài Huệ Năng. Ngài Huệ Năng không đi. Lần đầu thì trở về nói không có đi, nó bệnh gì đó, thì mới biểu ông đi một lần nữa đi. Thì ông Tiết Giảng đi nữa mới xuống, ổng cũng sợ là hoàng hậu biểu mà Huệ Năng không đi. Thì ông xuống năn nỉ, nói là vậy là mẹ thầy ngài phụ lòng hoàng hậu sao? Thì tổ mới nói là nếu hoàng hậu có duyên với đạo đó, đâu có cần tôi có mặt ở đó đâu. Tôi không có duyên với đó đi không có được. Rồi cuối cùng nhà mời không được. Thì ngày về ông Tiết Giảng về báo thì hoàng hậu Võ Túc Thiên giận dữ đứng lên la lớn là hắn không để phải không? Thì ngay đêm đó tổ biết rồi thì kêu đệ tử lại làm giấy trối là hết, là đêm đó tổ tịch luôn đi luôn. Không để bả phải trả thù hay là bắt bớ. Đó là trong phim của người Tàu làm đó, con coi ở nhà con có nè.
Đó, phải đúng rồi.
Cái người làm đương nhiên phải nghiên cứu lịch sử, người ta làm cái phim đó ra.
Absolutely. You can trust the movies.
Yeah. Rồi thứ hai là nãy thầy nói đi mời tổ vô cung để cúng. Thì ông Lưu Bị cũng là vua của người Hoa, người Tàu đó. 3 lần đi kiếm ông Khổng Minh để mà nhờ làm cố vấn. Mà Khổng Minh không đi, lần thứ 3 mới nhận đó. Mà đi tới cái Thảo Lư, cái am tranh của ông Gia Cát Lượng để mà cầu. Chứ đâu có kêu ông Gia Cát Lượng vô trong cung của mình đâu. Đi 3 lần đó. Rồi sau là 3 người là ông Gia Cát Lượng với ông Lưu Bị với ngài Quan Công này là cùng nhau là lo việc nước đó.
Translation.
Master, I really love the 6th Patriarch, so I watched the movie they
My
made
kind of man.
about him 10 times. So I even have the movie with me right now. So especially I watched the part where the Empress want to invite the 6th Patriarch. The purpose is a political reason because she wants the support from Buddhism. So that's why she asked the, what do you call the eunuch came and invite 6th Patriarch. But 6th Patriarch refused it. So he came back and report to the Empress, and then the second time she was so angry. And then she said, okay, so when she get angry like that, and the 6th Patriarch knew, so that's why on that night he called his disciple and say the last word, and he died on that day, that night. So this movie made by the Chinese, of course, they been investigate about his story, so I think it has some truth in there.
Totally accurate.
It's very accurate.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I believe in movies. I don't care what you say. I mean, that's why I learned my Buddhism. This is why you can't be really cultivated and be a politician. That's not possible. You need to compromise. A politician needs a compromise for the greater good. Okay? Because whereas when you cultivate, you have to reject. You have to select. Okay? You can't compromise. So that's why I seriously don't doubt that she's really serious about cultivation at all. She's just grandstanding. She's just embellishing her resumes, the historical records. I don't think that she's serious at all. Very competent woman, you know. You see, I talked about crowning achievement. You know, if she were an emperor and she did all those great things, look the history of Buddhism. The crowning achievements of those great kings were to shave their head, cultivate, and then become enlightened. That's what happened to Amitabha Buddha. You know that? That's what happened to Manjushri. That's what happened to Universal Worthies. That's what happened to Wanjin Bodhisattva. That's what happened to Great Strength Bodhisattva. They were princes. They abandoned the princehood to cultivate, and they became enlightened themselves. Historically, that's what happened. They could not remain politicians. It's a waste of time. Seriously. So that's why, you know, the Chiu Chao have their own version, their own rumors, and say Wu Zetian is enlightened and so forth. It's okay. But the movie records show that he's not enlightened. You know, so I tend to believe movies more than the Chiu Chao people. Okay? Cute.
Jen was saying that Jen was quoting Master Xuanhua's book where he talked about Empress Zetian, and it was saying that Xian Shou Guo Shi, she invited Master Xian Shou to speak Avatar Saga Sutra for her in her court. So I guess the question would be, was that situation different from the 6th Patriarch?
Here's also another practical aspect that you probably are not aware of. If you're a patriarch and you go to the royal palace, or even the empress goes to his temple, do you think you can teach an empress to become enlightened in one meeting? Is it possible? Very unlikely. Okay, the process is like it takes time takes time to prepare for enlightenment. Enlightenment doesn't happen overnight. Even Venerable Huineng himself, when he became enlightened, first became enlightened, by listening, he walked to the marketplace, and someone was reciting this verse from the Vajra Sutra. He said, you should produce a mind that's nowhere, it dwells on nowhere. He heard that sentence and said, wow, that's it. And he became enlightened. He certified the 4th stage arhatship. Just like that. Okay? So you think, when you read this, when you hear the story, most of you think like, oh wow, so it's how easy it is to be to reach, to attain certain enlightenment. You hear something and you become enlightened. No, it takes preparations, folks. How did Venerable Huineng prepare for that? By suffering what? Poverty. Very poor. Extremely poor. Can barely make ends meet. Hunger. Okay? Doing physical work. Yes? And being despised by his neighbors, by his relatives, by his friends. Yeah? That's a lot of suffering. He never had it easy. It's not like he's born into a good family with a golden spoon in his mouth. Not at all. He could barely make ends meet every day. Imagine that he has to go collect firewood to go sell in the marketplace every day. And what about you? You know what happens to the rainy days? Huh? When during the rainy season, you know how difficult it is for them to make a living? Huh? So he suffered a lot, folks. It's not like he became enlightened just like that. Just like, don't expect that you can learn something and you become enlightened just like that. Okay? Empress Zetian, if she wants to become enlightened, she has to work hard just like everyone else. No one in the history of Buddhism has been able to become enlightened without suffering, without working hard. Not as far as I know. There's no movie I know of, okay, that says that it could happen. Okay? So if Zetian wanted to become enlightened and Master Huineng was willing to help, my guess would be say, hey, you know what? I tell you what, I would teach you. I would speak to you for 5-10 minutes, and then I let my assistant train you, prime you, okay, and help you build your foundation, okay. You know, I would seriously doubt that a 6th Patriarch would be willing to spend that much time on someone at the level of Zetian who never practiced before. It's not possible for him to help her, okay? If he spends a lot of time with Zetian, it's in order to help him. Think about it, folks. The more time you spend with Zetian, then she start asking you, would you need more temples? You need more money? And the answer is yes. Okay? You're helping yourself. You're not helping Zetian. Yes, Orange.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, giống bà Võ Tắc Thiên mình thầy nãy khai thị nói đó, thầy bà cũng là một người kêu bằng học Phật pháp rồi cũng có một chút xíu trí huệ thôi, chứ còn muốn tu tới mà muốn đắc giác ngộ thành Bồ Tát thì cũng còn lâu lắm, hay còn bao nhiêu đời nữa, chứ không phải là dễ dàng đâu thầy. Yeah. giống quả ngân vậy đó. Quả ngân đâu có biết cái gì, mà quả ngân cũng đâu có giác ngộ gì. Tự nhiên mình đi chùa cái mình nghe người ta cãi lộn đồ này kia, cái mình nhìn một cái đó, mình nhìn một cái mình hết hồn á. Trời ơi, sao mấy người xuất gia sao mà phiền não quá chừng vậy ha. Cái này mình con nói thiệt á, chứ không phải là chỉ trích ai hết trơn á. Con nói trời đất ơi, cạo đầu mà sao phiền não quá chừng. Cái con tự nhiên có một cái câu thơ trong đầu óc nó chạy ra, chứ bây giờ muốn đi học cũng không có nữa. Nó như vậy chứ đâu phải là một người mình ai. Giống mình đi không phải là giác ngộ, tới nói tới một cái giác ngộ rất là khó, chứ không phải là dễ đâu thầy. Mô Phật. Đọc mà bị người ta còn nói trở về nữa. Mà câu đó bây giờ ngồi nhớ trong đầu óc hoài mà nhớ làm chi nữa. Thầy cô bỏ hết gian sang vô chùa theo Phật rồi phiền săn tối ngày. Tự nhiên nó có cái như vậy. Tôi có đọc. Thầy cô bỏ hết gian sang vô chùa theo Phật và phiền săn tối ngày. Thầy cô phải có tâm từ, thanh tâm trí huệ mới thoát ra hồng trần. Hồng trần khổ lắm ai ơi, mau theo Phật, niệm Phật rồi về nhà Tây Phương. Tự nhiên nó có một câu dài như vậy. Rồi cái tôi nói ra rồi hả, tôi quên đó. Tôi kêu người bạn mau viết lên, nhiều khi quên đó, kêu người bạn đọc nghe. Mô Phật. Không biết có phạm tội không thầy? Chứ không phải là mình giác ngộ mình gì, tự nhiên nó có cái như vậy đó thầy. Mô Phật.
Based on whatever Master talked earlier, Uta Tien is the one that learned about Buddhism and has a little bit of wisdom. But for her to attain enlightenment, it's not easy. It probably will take a long time. So, for example, I myself, I don't know anything. When I come to the temple, I saw that people fight. And then I was so shocked. I said, you guys left home people, why you has a lot of affliction? I'm just telling you the truth, not about criticizing anyone. But for me, attaining enlightenment is so difficult. And when I saw things happen, I suddenly have a verse a poem that run in my mind. And I was kind of surprised. So the poem say that you teacher, monk, and nun, you give up everything. You go into the temple, you follow the Buddha. Vô chùa theo Phật cha hả cô? Phiền hả? You go to the temple, you follow Buddha. Why you have a lot of affliction and anger day and night?
No, you meditate. You meditate to be more angry.
Phiền phức chứ không phải là thiền. Phiền não, affliction, not meditation.
You meditate on anger. You meditate and be more angry and get more afflictions.
She meant you go to the temple and then you have a lot of affliction and anger day and night. Not about meditation.
She meditated. You meditate, and the more you meditate, you become more angry and you become more afflicted. That's a Chiu-Chow style of laughing at us, Sangans. Yeah.
So, and the next verse is teacher, monk, and nun. You need to have the mind of compassion, the mind of kindness. With that, it will help you to open up your wisdom and get out of the Saha world.
Very good. Yeah. Well, in our defense, we eventually learn not to fight in public. We only steal each other's sangha shoes so that we can't walk to the Buddha hall anymore. And at lunchtime, we don't let them have chopsticks. Okay, so but absolutely no fighting anymore. Okay, very good. Where are we? I've totally lost track of what we're supposed to be talking about. Okay, we still have a few more minutes. Yes, Pink.
Master, I have, after listening to our former kitchen manager's comment earlier, I have a perspective on Mary Jo's question. And if I remember correctly, it was if we recite the Shurangama mantra every morning.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We can generate enough blessings to become an emperor in our next life. And then Mary Jo took the rhetorical approach of saying, but if we become an emperor in our next life and we can't become enlightened as an emperor, why would we want to do that? So, sorry for the long summary. But my perspective is, as our former kitchen manager mentioned, it could be a matter of education. And for this empress, she chose, when she saw King Yama, to take the option of becoming an empress, perhaps because she had never been taught about other options that could be behind other doors, whereas I feel very blessed to know that I've been educated that if I make it to King Yama and he presents me with the option of becoming an emperor or an empress in the next life, but then also says, or you could go to this door and there's the Pure Land, that at least I have the knowledge to hopefully make the correct choice at that time to take the Pure Land door and not bother with perpetuating the wheel in any capacity.
Very good. Absolutely. Zetian is well-meaning and everything, but she doesn't intend to cultivate. She only wants to understand. She only wants to hear the Dharma. So that's why the 6th Patriarch says, I don't have time to speak Dharma for you just to increase your knowledge. That's why he refused. Okay? By the way, my time is worth a lot more than what you can offer me. He never had to say that, but that's how I see it. Okay? I say, wow, it's a lesson to me personally. I say, wow, so his time is so precious that he cannot afford to waste it, okay, on rubbing elbows with the rich and powerful and so forth. So to me, it's such a shining example of what the standards of the superior monks have to be. Okay. Yes, Q.
Sorry, Master. I don't know if I made it clear. I was trying to relate Master YongHua's narrative on this. So he was saying that Zetian invited the Master Xianshou, who is the 3rd Patriarch of the Avatar Sangha Huayan Zong, the school that specializes in that sutra. And then and then Master Xianshou spoke Dharma spoke the sutra to the Tian in her palace, and then she felt it was not complete. So she sent people to India to get the complete 80 verses of the Avatamsaka Sutra. And then she read it, and then she really liked it, and then she wrote the sutra opening verse, which is the one we were talking about earlier. So that's according to Master YongHua's story.
So she's the one who created those verses, or what?
Yeah,
Is that your
at least
point?
Yeah, that's what Master YongHua's writing.
Yeah, if he says so, then we can believe so. So that's possible. If he says so, it's true. All right. And finally, the answer to the person in San Diego. Why would you generate blessings and to be an emperor, and then you don't want to be an emperor? You shouldn't take it literally. All that it does is that when you recite the mantra, you have the blessings that are equivalent to the blessings that it would take to be an emperor. Okay, meaning that you have all those blessings, but you don't necessarily have to choose to use them to become an emperor, like the point was made earlier. Instead, you could use those blessings to, you could put them to better use, like gold in the Pure Land. So that's why, by the way, that was also my initial reaction. Same thing as Mary Jo. So I said, what's the point? I don't want to be an emperor. Yeah. It's not that interesting. But it only means that you have the equivalent blessings. You have so many blessings, so much blessings, that you can become an emperor in the future if that's what you wish. Okay? That's all it means. All right, time is up. A lively discussion today. Thank you all. Next time, let's continue from slide 14. For now, let's do a rebirth transference. Thank you all.